What's up, you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on #confirmed, we're digging into Devstream 127 to see if there's going to be any worthwhile content coming to Warframe anytime soon. Now, surprisingly, there is a good bit to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump on in. Now, straight out of the gate, they did announce the next round of Tenogen. They didn't say when it was going to launch, but they did show us all of the new skins that will be coming. Speaking of skins, they also went ahead and showed us the Khora Deluxe skin in the arsenal. And let me tell you, it's looking pretty fucking good. It's just all elaborate and really opulent and very, very pretty, as well as the shotgun skin that's going to be coming along with it. And they did specifically say shotgun skin, so I'm hoping that they went ahead and opened it up to all of the shotguns out there, because dear Lord, sweet baby Jesus, the Sobek and the Heck need a little bit of love, so hopefully that can be applied. Now, on the deluxe theme skin train, they did go ahead and show off another concept, again by Liger Zanuka, who is absolutely killing it for these deluxe skins, which of course is Khora Deluxe. And my mind was blown. Like, it was like layers of different lotus petals. She's got two tails. Venari is just all crazy. It looks like flowers are coming forward and the face is coming out, and he's got two tails too. Regardless, I'm absolutely blown away. Looks amazing as always. The next thing on the list, while we're talking about Khora Deluxe, I'll leave that in the background, but here's some bad news to go with that good news. New War is not going to be coming out before TennoCon. The interesting thing they did say about it is, you know, there's a lot of work going into it, but it seems like there might be a bit more that's also going to be attached to it. So maybe it's not just a quest, maybe it's a quest and then some, which is something that I'm definitely going to be excited for, because like I said earlier, we're waiting for some worthwhile content, and I hope that this might be it. Maybe a new tile set? Tau? I don't know. Next thing, they also slipped this in. And they said that this was going to be due midsummer. Maybe it's attached to the New War, maybe not. But they did say that it's not gonna be a raid, but it might be raid-like. Daryl is working on something in the background. We have no word on what it is. And maybe it's the big mystery that does come with the New War. So I can't wait to see that, and I'm crossing my fingers that it'll like rejuvenate me and make me feel like I'm back in the groove. So semi-future Rob popping in for the second time, and I know it's not gonna seem like the second time for you, but all of this timey-wimey bullshit doesn't necessarily always happen in a line. Regardless, somehow I forgot to mention that we're actually getting more changes to the way the energy colors are displayed. We're gonna get 4 slots in total. So the first kind of like bracket that we have is actually going to contain 2 different colors for emissives. Now, emissives are going to be specific to your Warframe. So any of the energy colors that you see going on there, you'll be able to go ahead and change with the first slot that has 2 little boxes in it instead of the normal rectangle. Then right underneath that, we'll also have the energy colors. And again, we'll have 2 square boxes instead of the normal rectangle box, and that will dictate all of the colors that are attached specifically to Warframe casting abilities. So you'll see that energy plume that goes out, and it's going to be kind of representative of what your energy colors are going to look like. So it's really cool, because now we'll be able to separate what's on the Warframe to what's on the abilities. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Past Rob yet again. Boop. Moving along, they showed off UI improvements. Now, I really wouldn't be all that excited about this if I didn't recently do a UI video where we went ahead and combined a whole bunch of different themes. I'll go ahead and leave a link up to that in the top corner so you can check that out just in case you're curious. But there were a lot of screens that were still missing, and that's because they've been working on some cool things in the background. They went ahead and showed off the new relic screen, which does actually bring additional functionality to it. So you could do all of the things that you already could do with relics. But in this case, you're actually able to go into the relic screen, and you know some of those lower level relics that have been kind of like, they've gotten like 1 bump up in their rarity? Well, you can actually go ahead and bump them all the way up through individual stages. So if you've got a flawless one, you can actually bring that up to a radiant. Before, if you just got a flawless, you were kind of stuck with a flawless. Now you can bring it all the way up. So I really like the new functionality, and that screen is actually looking pretty damn good. They also showed off the market screen, screen, and I want to mention this real quick because for those of you looking for stats in the new UI, all you have to do is hit tab and you'll be able to cycle between some of the mini screens that you see there because stats are important. Next up, they did go ahead and show us the Syndicates menu, and again, it sounds like it's really boring, but they are adding more functionality into it, which is kind of one of the things that we sort of asked for. So with the Syndicates, you'll notice that you can kind of see them all straight out the gate, but not just that, you'll actually be able to check all of the Syndicates that aren't just the base ones. You'll be able to check Samaris, Teshin, all of the Ostron ones, all of the Orvalis ones, all in like the little screens. You'll have to kind of like click over to get to them. But one of the coolest features that they're adding in is the fact that you can actually teleport to a specific Syndicate personage if they are not necessarily like, you know, an on your ship kind of interaction thing. So definitely keep that in mind. They showed this off for Samaris. I don't know exactly all of the ones that it's going to be applied to, but they specifically said directly to Samaris and other Syndicates like that. So it's nice because you'll be able to teleport to Samaris or teleport yourself one step closer to the simulacrum. I just wish there was like a button that said Samaris and a button that said simulacrum so we wouldn't have to get in any extra loading screens that we didn't really need. But you know what? We're one step closer and that's all that matters. Moving along, let's go ahead and have a chat about Nightwave. So the earliest end of Nightwave, as this specific core of Nightwave, the Wolf of Saturn 6 storyline, will be May 15th. That is the earliest. That isn't necessarily when it's going to end, but that is the tentative date that they're trying to aim for. Now, for those of you guys who have some wolf anxiety out there, you're like, I haven't gotten all the parts yet, I haven't seen him enough, I need to do this, that, or the other. Well, just keep in mind the wolf will not disappear at the end of this Nightwave series. He will actually appear a little bit more rare when this ends, but they did say that they have a plan to incorporate the wolf as an on-demand threat in the next season using evergreen rewards. I have no clue what that means. Maybe they're wolf beacons, kind of like the way that we have stalker beacons. So keep in mind that even though the wolf may appear rarely on their own, in future you might actually be able to summon him via one of the beacons. So cross your fingers that that will become available for anybody out there who is like worried about not being able to farm up the wolf maw parts. Now, this next round of Nightwave, they actually went ahead and said they're going to be making some changes, which some of them are positive and some of them are so let's go ahead and get into it. So first and foremost, they reduced the axe. They really wanted to take off the kind of stress of having to do so much in a week. There's a lot of people that might not be able to reach them till the end of the week and they feel like it's very grindy, and they did not like that. So they're going to be reducing the number of weekly acts from 7 down to 5, and then the elite weekly acts from 3 down to 2. However, they are going to proportion the earnings to be the exact same. So it's going to be less acts, but the same amount of standing that you gain. Moving along, they actually said that they were going to go ahead and make Nightwave a little bit easier. Now, let me give you this overarching, just general feeling right now. I do get this vibe where people are like, oh, they're making it easier for casuals, yada, yada, yada. I never looked at Nightwave, at least me personally, didn't look at Nightwave as something that was going to be endgame. So for me, if they're making Nightwave easier, fine, so be it. It's just an alert system or a replacement for an alert system. I don't necessarily think that this is where endgame belongs anyway. But the issue for me is endgame does belong somewhere. So where's it gonna be? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could take endgame out of this. I don't mind because I don't feel like it fits the system. But endgame needs to go somewhere. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. So they are going to lower the survival missions from the 60-minute survival down to 30 minutes. They're lowering the 40 wave defenses down to 20. The 10 bounties, by the way, I don't think it's 10, y'all. I think that they're lying because I'm pretty sure it was 8 because I bitched about those bounties on Venus and the, the planes enough to know that it was 8, but they lowered it from 10 down to 5 or 8 down to 5. I feel like it was really 8. Don't lie to me, DE. And then they also moved the conservation from 10 down to 6. Why couldn't you lower it to 5? You moved the bounties down to 5. I'm just saying. I just think that it's more consistent. And then also for anybody who is concerned about the whole clan mate friends things, they realize that you don't necessarily like that all the time. But they did say that they were going to extend it to alliance members as well. So it's not just you, it's also whoever your clan is attached to as well. But to be honest with you, I don't necessarily think it's that big a deal. Just friend somebody when you start the mission and you should be 100% okay. The next thing that they did mention is that there is going to be a catch-up mechanic. So the cool thing about this is you'll actually be able to play any of the weekly alerts that you might have missed from previous weeks. The only thing you have to do is clear out all of your weeklies from the current week, and then the weeklies from the previous weeks will go ahead and appear. So that way anybody who had to take a week off, or anybody who just doesn't want to play Warframe for a week, take a Warframe vacation for a week, and then come back and then, you know, do all of the weekly grind in like one shot and then move on with your life. Fantastic. Next thing that we wanted to go ahead and chat about too is there's a little bit of a preview for what is to come with the next Nightwave series. So lore-wise, they showed off, okay, I know it sounds really weird because I said lore-wise, but it's like fashion lore-wise. They went ahead and showed off a new shoulder piece which is going to be exclusive to the next Nightwave, and it's this infested like shoulder piece with like a swath of cloth. Yeah, in my head it's not a swath of cloth, it's just a really thin like fleshy bit that dangles. I don't want to say cloth because it's just you just wearing dead skin. It's kind of gross, DE. Not sure if I'm into it. But it is, I'm sure you could make it look pretty, and we did just take a look at the Loki infested skin, which I thought was very nice, so maybe it'll make a cameo appearance there. So now we know the next Nightwave is going to be infested themed. I'm pretty sure they confirmed it previously, but we know for sure now. Moving on, the big thing that I believe is going to be happening around May, and it's because I feel like the Wolf storyline for Nightwave is going to end sometime in May, and then they're going to be introducing the Jovian Concord, which of course is the Gas Planet rework. Now, that includes stuff with Alad V and all of the amalgams, but one of the big things that I did want to point out is Wisp will be coming along with it, as well as her new weapon, and they went ahead and showed that off. And it's this cool, like, alternate fire weapon. It's a thunder shotgun. I don't know if it's going to be single pellet, I don't know if it's going to be multiple pellets, and then they also showed off the lightning rifle. I don't want to jump into it too much right now because we could talk about pellets. Is it going to be Arcoplasmor-like since it's an energy pulse? Because like the auto rifle sounded like it was shooting like standard projectiles. It looked like it was zapping an electric projectile. It's weird, so we're not going to pay attention to it yet. Just know that it is going to be an alt fire weapon that can toggle between one of the two modes. Next up, that also comes along with it is a new game mode which is called Disruption. So from what we saw on the stream, it starts off at about level 35, and it's supposed to scale quicker than normal mission types. So basically what Disruption is going to be is it's like a mobile defense. You're going to have 4 different points, and in order to unlock each point, you're going to need to kill amalgams. Amalgams will drop a key. You'll go ahead and use that key, put it into the point, and then the point is going to release a mutation. Now, the mutation can either be a buff or it can be a debuff. It's going to be random, so you don't know exactly what's going to be happening with it. Everybody that is standing around that point defending the points will actually be inflicted with it. Now, here's the thing. You do 4 different points, and that counts as 1 round. Now, of course, if you're a little bit more of an advanced team, you can actually go ahead and split up and hold down each of the 4 points. Now, one of the things that I wasn't 100% sure of is if you have a teammate at each one of the 4 points, does that mean that you get all of the 4 potential buffs / debuffs? because that would be kind of interesting. So you're able to go ahead and control all these 4 points, and however fast your team does it will progress you onto the next round quicker. Now, one of the things that they also stated, which I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be measured mechanically, they just said how fast you do it, is that you're actually able to influence the reward pool that you get from it depending on your performance. So they said that if you were able to do it fast enough, or were able to escalate it fast enough, you'd actually be able to skip round A in the reward pools and go straight to round B. I don't know exactly how that's going to be reflected. I don't know if they meant that, you know, it was just you perform faster, thus you get to the better loot quicker. But they did say that you could skip. They just didn't show off how you could skip. They just said that if you did it faster, you could. There wasn't any UI indication that I noticed that I was like, oh, that's going to be cool. Now, the interesting thing that I wanted to point out here is they were having a decent bit of trouble like actually fighting off the amalgams, and I'm not sure if it came down to modding, if it came down to Wisp performance, or the mods that were put onto the weapon, but we do see that it starts at level 35, and I think that it's very easy for us to scoff at the level 35s. However, one of the things that I'm thinking of in my head is how powerful are these amalgams? Because it seemed like we were fighting pretty much nothing but amalgams. So if amalgams are tough, they did say something about damage resistance, and as you guys know, they've been playing around with damage resistance a lot when it comes to the wolf. So I don't know if that's going to be incorporated at all so that these level 35s perform more like, let's say, level 60s, which I'm very curious to see, and I hope it's actually the case, because it looked like it might be difficult, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to go ahead and reserve any any initial ideas straight out the gate until it actually launches. I'm just crossing my fingers that it's at least as difficult as what they showed there with an actual top end build. I know that's asking for a lot, it's asking for a whole lot, but in my head, one of the things that I always put out there is DE knows what top end is. DE knows what the top end players are playing, because literally we publish them on YouTube and we have builds and you can see how they perform. So DE knows how they perform. I'm just hoping that this will be a challenge, maybe not in the first round, maybe not in the second round, but maybe in the third round, like those top end builds start to chug a little bit. That is where I'm going to find things to be interesting. So hopefully we see that. Hopefully it will be worth all of that. But one of the things that I do also have to put out there is faster scaling and being able to get good rewards straight out of the gate, or having your efforts scale. Because sometimes, like, sitting in a mission for 2 hours, I don't really give a shit about scaling rewards there. I want good rewards straight out the gate for difficult content. Like, I don't want to have to wait around for it. So I just want to kind of impress upon them that one game mode is nice, but maybe you should implement it into other existing game modes as well as a little bit of a challenge mode, so that we don't have to wait for an hour, 2 hours to get to the good bits. Now, not quite Future Rob popping in here real quick, because I forgot to mention that when they were showing off the tile set for the Jovian Concord, they did kind of give us a little bit of a teaser of the fact that an Eidolon might be hiding out somewhere in the gases of Jupiter. Now, I found it very interesting because when it was targeted, it did not have any kind of health bar or any nameplate that kind of appeared over it. So I'm not 100% sure if they're just teasing something else, or if that's actually going to be a part of the landscape that we'll be able to engage in. So putting that out there, I don't think it's anything quite yet, but we'll see when it launches. So let's pass it back to not quite past Rob, but a little bit. Boop. Alright, me off my soapbox, let's go ahead and close things out. They showed off a petal ephemera. It looks like little lotuses that kind of fall off of you, and this is actually going to be available during the TennoCon 2019 streams, so they'll be streaming all day from there, and you'll be able to go ahead and get it, I believe, from any of the streamers, or at least if you go ahead and watch the Tenno live that's going to happen there, you should be able to grab it as well. But I didn't mention ephemera in vain. It is also because they will be increasing the ephemera drop rate pretty much across the board. They also did state that they're looking to make all future ephemera more earnable instead of luck-based, which I'm glad they're listening, because if RNG handed to me, it doesn't really feel like it's been earned. And also, I've been grinding my ass away for like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, trying to go ahead and grab that Fire Feed ephemera, which is not happening because it's like a 1% drop rate. Thanks to E. And last but not least, they showed off a systems UI for Railjack that's not supposed to be like modding, but seems an awful lot like modding, but just in a different type of UI. It does look really, really cool, and this is our first glimpse of Railjack in quite a while. So I'm glad to see it here. I'm just questioning exactly what it's gonna bring, because they showed that bit of UI, and then they showed some of the environments that they're actually going to be traversing in, but they showed that with an Arcwing. The environment looks really, really pretty. However, I am very curious to see what else comes with it, because right now Railjack is a little bit nebulous to me. It doesn't seem like there's much more information on it out there. But yeah, I think that pretty much closes out the episode. That about does it for me for now. Let me know how you guys feel about all the things you've seen. Are you excited about the new Disruption game mode? Are you excited for the new Jupiter rework set that we're going to be seeing sometime in May? They said it was coming in May. I don't know. How do you feel about the changes to Nightwave? Leave all of your feelings down in the comments below, especially about that Khora Deluxe skin. Ooh, so sassy. Go ahead and toss that down there for me. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.